Hey guys, it's me, Polite Mediocrity, here on the Cigarette Burns. Haven't made a review in ages. I have a bit of a cold right now, so that's why I sound a bit weird. In fact, it's keeping me away from making actual videos, so I'm kind of relieved that I get to do this. So, this is my review on Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, which is a part of the Vengeance trilogy, I believe. I haven't actually seen much of this trilogy. I've seen Old Boy many years ago. Not many years ago, a few years ago. But I really like that one, so I thought I was going to really like this film, and I did. It's a Korean film. You're going to know the story by now, because you probably watched the other people on the Cigarette Burns. I'm not entirely sure. But I'm not going to go into the story as much as them. But I will tell you what I liked and didn't like, and I will give you a brief summary of the story every now and then, because that's how I roll in this review game. What a pathetic belch that was. I thought it was going to be really manly, but it turned out to be kind of squirrel-like. But anyway. And also the manual focus. I don't have the manual focus on. I do have to actually press the record button again, and then put manual focus on, and then re-record, and then it won't do autofocus. But I can't be arsed, so you'll have to put up with autofocus. Ha! Anyway, yes, Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, Korean film, brilliant Korean film. It's just like a Greek tragedy, and it's done to perfection. Every scene is perfectly placed and perfectly shot, and I just love how Koreans, or even Asians in general, just know so much more about film than we do. It's weird. When you're watching an Asian film, it just feels so much different, and yet so much better than whatever Britain or America can come up with. Even though that we have made some classics, we in the English-speaking world, but they just blow it out of the water. And this is no different. This is a visually beautiful piece, and like I said, every scene is meant to be there. To an extent. I mean, there are some scenes that don't need to be there, but they're so pleasing to the eye, or even to the ears, that you don't want them to go anywhere. You want everything in this film to stay where it is. You don't want anything cut, you don't want anything brought in. It's perfect. But I did have a few problems, and these are nitpicky problems, which shows how good this movie is. One, it's the scene, the daughter's autopsy scene, because this is just after they find the dead body of the daughter, which if you've seen the other reviews you know what that's all about. But the dad of the daughter watches the autopsy. Now the last thing, if I had a kid, okay, I don't have a kid at the moment, but if I had a kid and she died, or he died, I would not want to then, about 5 minutes after, want to watch him be cut open by strangers. I just wouldn't. I mean, it did have this kind of powerful effect once you saw past the unrealism of the dad actually watching the daughter's autopsy. But the thing was that you could have just had a normal grieving scene. You didn't have to actually have the dad watch. And he was looking away for most of the bloody scene. Why was he there? There was no need for him to be there. Okay? See what I mean by nitpicking? But that really bugged me. He went to see his own daughter's autopsy when he could have, I don't mind him like sitting outside and maybe hear the soaring from outside, and he's just bursting out into tears. But actually standing in the room, watching as they cut her open, what was he hoping to find? The killer's name? Maybe she ate a letter which says everything, says all the names and the address of everything. No, that's not going to happen. All they're going to find is that she drowned, which we already know. And the dad should already know because they found her in a bloody lake. And if something else happened to her, then he could have been told after the autopsy. He didn't need to stand there watching as they cut her open with a saw. Makes no sense. Anyway, other flaws. Let's think. The old woman was on pot. I'm pretty sure she was high as a kite during the scenes that she was in. Or the first scene that she was in, the first time she spoke. She was so out of her face, it was not even funny. Well, it was actually a bit funny. It was like Carrie Fisher during the Star Wars holiday special. But, you know, see, nitpicking. Autofocus. So, and the good things, let's head into the good things, because we don't really care what I think was crap about this film, because there wasn't much. The good things were the torture scenes were so much better than anything that Saw or Hostel could have done, due to the fact that there was actually emotion put behind this torture scene, and it wasn't like gruesome torture. Well, one of them was, but it was not gruesome, and yet it was so much more effective, and you actually were a lot more. It was a lot more tense than something you'd see on Saw or Hostel, due to the fact that it was just visually brilliant in every way and shot brilliantly. I mean, Mr. Vengeance, the daughter's dad, we're going to call him Mr. Vengeance because I do believe that's who he is, puts a blanket over the Ryu, the main character's girlfriend's head, and electrocutes her from under the sheets, so all you can see is her screaming and squirming, and that's just brilliant. Brilliant in every way. And then she pisses herself, but that's neither here nor there. But it's weird, when you have a cold, it makes you not be able to talk properly. Anyway, my eyes are watering as well, so I might cry in a minute. Back to the review. Another good bit that I really liked was the end, the kind of ending where he actually captures Ryu, the main character, who kidnaps the girl in the first place. Mr. Vengeance catches up to him, and instead of stabbing him or slitting his throat, he takes him back to the lake where the daughter drowned, and slices his ankles. That I'm not usually disgusted. I mean, I saw Antichrist and saw the genital mutilation that film offered on a plate and said, "Here you go, have some genital mutilation." No thanks. Shit film. No. Anyway, in no way, shape, or form was Antichrist a good film, but that's a review for another day. This did disgust me, but in a good way. It disgusted me in a good way. I like being disgusted when it's in a good way. This was really effective again. Instead, like, they're kind of standing in the lake, and he's talking to him and saying, "You know why I must kill you right now." And he's like, and the deaf mute guy is just there, just kind of shivering. He goes in the water, and you're like, what the hell's he doing? And then you hear kind of a slicing, almost a slicing noise, and then Ryu, the main character, bursts into loads of screams and just screams his lungs out, and you're like, what the hell is he doing? Is he what cutting his cock off? I don't know. No. Then the camera kind of just goes to his ankles, and they have huge holes in them, this big, blood flowing out of them. I nearly puked right there. That was just over the top. But no, brilliantly done, brilliantly shot. Every camera angle, every every scene was so well done that it kind of made you think, where the hell Hollywood's going wrong. But especially with something that was so obviously, I'm not going to say low budget, but it didn't have anything in it that would suggest CGI. It didn't have any CGI whatsoever. It didn't have anything. And that's the thing about Asian films. It does not deal with CGI much unless extremely needed. In monster films, you kind of get CGI because you can then put a giant monster to act off of, and it actually looks weird. But yes, so brilliant film. I definitely recommend it to everyone. I'm heading towards 11 minutes, so I have to stop now. So I'll see you next time.